body chasing the truth.
This is a reaction video / commentary video to Joe Rogan talking to Bobby Lee. I have to reiterate that because I don't want to mention any names. Somebody keeps copyrighting the videos that I make, the reaction videos, when I criticize their comedy. You know it falls under fair use. I'm adding commentary. I'm adding my opinion. I'm not just taking your content and just doing whatever I want to it. So I'd appreciate it if you stop doing that. Thank you. Let's get into the video.
Everyone's asking me to come.
You should come. I know you're talking shit about moving to Austin, but listen.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. I watched the video.
No, I didn't.
Don't lie. You did. You did.
What did I say?
I'm not fucking moved to Austin. I don't leave my neighborhood. I don't go to Compton. I stay right here.
Could I say something?
What?
You know what, man? You know what, man? You know what, man?
What?
Listen,
What?
you have to understand what you guys did.
What did we do?
You guys took half of the talent out.
Yeah.
So I was just butthurt.
We brought it.
Wouldn't that be a good thing, though? That means you'd get more work. I mean, I know you can't collaborate like you'd want to, but you would be able to work more.
Another bunch in, too. Like Shane Gillis lives here.
I know he
We're
does.
doing
not.
great.
I know you guys are killing it.
We're having
I went to the
so
club
much
last
fun.
night.
Come move here.
I know,
It's-
but
you're more than Paulie's thinking about it. Paulie's here a lot.
I know. And
Paul
then
was just here the
Theo's
other day.
thinking
He's
about
killing
it.
Theo's thinking about
Right.
it. Yeah. They're all just worried that like people go, oh, you moved there, suck on Rogan's nuts.
I would never suck your nuts.
I don't ask.
I wouldn't do it.
If you did, it would be a problem.
Yeah.
I'd be like, why are you doing this? I'd have to be
Would
asleep.
you hurt me?
No.
Oh, okay, we were camping.
If I woke up and you were sucking my nuts, I wouldn't hurt you.
What?
I would yell at you.
Like
I'd
what?
hurt you.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
It
what?
was-
Joe, you wouldn't hurt him if he was... Let's just drop the subject altogether.
The fuck, dude?
It
That
would feel
felt
good.
good.
It was.
I was in the middle of a dream. What if I was in the middle of a sex
Yeah,
dream
yeah.
and you sucked my nuts?
I would be
and
so
came?
mindful too.
Bro, that would be a real problem for the rest of my life. I'd be
Right.
Like, the hardest I ever came.
I wouldn't
In
do
the
it.
chair,
There's
I
no way.
was sleeping.
Yeah,
I was
I would
having
never
a
do
sex
it.
dream.
Yeah,
Bobby
yeah.
Lee was sucking my nuts. I don't
Yeah.
know why he was doing it. It was just for fun. He didn't know. I
I've
was
sucked
gonna
nuts
go.
before, but like
All the jiu-jitsu practitioners, be careful. Rogan's trying to indicate something.
I get it.
yeah, but yeah. Me and Santino will maybe talk about it. Then.
Listen, man, it's a great place to live. It's a great place tax-wise. It's a great place traffic-wise. It's a great place. The most important thing is people-wise. The people here are so friendly. Austin people are great people. They're really nice. They're nice. They're not shitheads. They're not Hollywood people. They're not lost in this fake world of leftist ideology that everybody's trapped in. They're just people. They're just regular people, man. And those people...
See, this was the point of the video, the politics. Right? Rogan will say this about leftists, but then he won't support Trump with his platform. And at this point, if you're not part of the solution, then you're part of the problem. I would much rather deal with somebody like Trump that is logical than what's going on now in the country. It's just illogical. Everything makes completely no sense and zero amount of logic. And I would rather deal with a real human being like Trump than somebody like Biden who, they'll just tell you, they'll go on camera and say one thing and 30 seconds later they'll literally say the opposite and then be like, and get confronted like, I never said that. And it's them on the camera. So let's let Joe talk, but let's go from there.
exist outside of these blue bubbles where everyone's gone insane. Well, I used to be a part of the blue bubble. I was 100% a left-leaning person who lived in Los Angeles. I was 100%. I never voted Republican my whole life. I was very left-leaning, especially with like any social issues. When it comes to financial things, I'm a little bit more conservative, but at the end...
Joe, let's talk about the social issues. So let's talk about the most important social issue in 2024. You have a certain party that thinks it's okay to approach other people's children about changing their gender without notifying that child's parents. You have grown men dressed as women with fake breasts on and high heels and becoming kindergarten teachers, demanding that these children call her miss or she or her. And then they think that that teacher has the right to approach somebody else's child and talk about their sexuality. It's really super, super clear at this point. There's only one party that supports that. And if you stick up for that party in any way, that's what you're a part of. I will never, ever accept an adult talking to somebody else's child. And not only are you talking to somebody else's child about sexuality, you think that you have the right, after you brainwash that child, to change that child's sexual identity from boy to girl to girl to boy without notifying that parent? Are you effing insane? Are you insane? That's the only way I look at this whole entire thing. Who supports that? If you support that, me and you can't be friends at all, under any circumstance. Zero. If I feel a certain party is behind that, you will. I don't care if you promise me a $10 million in cash every year, free gas for the rest of my life. I will not vote for you. Ever. Under any circumstance.
At the end of the day, I'm way more left than I am right. But California went nuts, man. It's gone like full communist. It's out of its fucking mind. And their approach to law enforcement is so insane. It's so insane. The no cash bail, the letting people out for committing violent crimes, the fucking not stopping people for stealing up to whatever money it is. What is it, $900 now? I think they raised it. I think they made it a little higher. San Francisco is non-existent. Most of San Francisco is emptied out of like big chain stores and big department stores.
I wouldn't even do stand-up there anymore.
It's great.
But yet, both of yous are still in the middle. Right? You're saying all this, Rogan. You're saying all this, and you know all this, and you know the facts, and you know the statistics, as you claim that you do. And you claim that you're fully aware of because Rogan knows everything, right? He's fully aware of everything that's going on. But yet, he still wants to be neutral. And that's my biggest problem with Rogan. That's what cowards do. Cowards remain neutral. They don't want to pick a side because they're cowards. So you either stand for the truth or you either stand for lies. But what's worse than being in those two categories, the worst possible category to be in, is a person that just stays in the middle, doesn't pick a side. That's the true coward. Because at least the other person, I know exactly where they stand. At least the other person that I don't agree with 1,000%, who makes me sick, at least I know what they're about. And that's my problem with Rogan. That's my biggest problem with him. Whenever these topics come up or certain things come up, he tries to go right down the middle. Joe, how much money do you got, Joe? You got millions and millions. You got enough money to last 20 lifetimes. When are you going to be a man and be part of the solution and not part of the problem? When are you going to dig your heels in like Dana White and say, F you, I'm not being part of this nonsense with your platform? You know, you have a duty and an honor with your platform, you know, to speak the truth, and you do a poor job of it, Joe. This is what cowards do. Now, I'm not saying you have to agree with me every single thing politically, right? At all. I don't ever have to. Nobody has to agree with me politically with every single thing. But there's certain things I will never, ever accept under any circumstance. So you're having people that mutilate themselves and have all types of issues, purposely becoming school teachers and counselors and all types of things, and there's a line that you never cross, and they're crossing it. And not only are they crossing that line daily, they're proud of it. They promote it. They're making it seem normal. And when somebody like Rogan doesn't pick a side, he's part of that.
They ruined it.
They ruined the city.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
You can bring it back. The structure's still there. But
Yeah,
you have
yeah.
to have some hardcore Rudy Giuliani type motherfucker to come in there and knock heads.
Wow.
And nobody wants that.
You
Nobody
know-
wants that. They're peace, love, and granola and fucking wear a mask.
Whatever.
I'm in the middle now.
I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle.
I never thought I would ever say
Never.
that.
Never.
So you know all this, and you're still in the middle. The crime exploding on the street. Remember those two lawyers down in St. Louis? They have a beautiful house, beautiful property. 100 people think they're going to come on their property, loot, pillage, do all kinds of stuff. And those two individuals went out there and stood their ground and fought for their property and end up losing their law licenses. That's called insanity. You have no right, because you have fragile feelings, or, you know, your dad did whatever, your mom left you, or whatever you're angry about, you have no right to assault anybody. You have no right to destroy anybody's property. Never mind a group of thousands of people. And then you almost get your ass handed to you by those two lawyers, and then they turn into the victims. It's called insanity. That's what it's called. But with all this going on, the border. First of all, let's get this clear right now. Coming in from the border are people from everywhere. Europe, Africa, Asia, Latin America, South America, all over the place. So this isn't directed at one group. Coming across, it's an invasion. Millions upon millions of people unchecked, unvaccinated. Wait, I live in America, but I have to have a vaccination to go to work. But millions of people are just coming through and, hey, don't worry about it. Just deal with it, right? That's what's going on?
Yeah, it only happened in this last year.
Right. Exactly.
I just went, I can't do it anymore. You know, people that you thought were aligned with you are like now like mad at you about shit.
They're in a cult. They're in a cult. It's got all. I mean, Mark Andreessen, who's a brilliant venture capitalist guy, explained it to me in very clear terms, like what the definition of a cult is, how you can get excommunicated, how you get shamed.
Let's go back to the border thing for a minute. Whether you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian, other, and you're American, the border situation affects everybody. Safety, obviously, and then economically. Why do you think that everything is through the roof in America, the prices? Just never mind a certain president's policies that are horrible. When you have this many people coming across, over 10 million people, and they're just pouring in, who do you think pays for the free housing, for the education, for everything that's just handed to people that have never worked a day in America? Who put into Social Security, who paid taxes here, who did anything on American soil? Who do you think pays for all that? That's right, me and you. And we're all American. Every person here is, if you're born here, you're American. If you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian, other, you're American. So when you go to the grocery store and a package of steak is $30 for 2 steaks, or $35. When you go to the gas pump and it's $3.50 a gallon. When a 1-bedroom apartment is $1,850 or $2,000. Are you really gonna all sit there and tell me that the prices going through the roof for everything, that the people coming by the millions here illegally have nothing to do? Of course it has something to do with it. That's why your taxes go to that. One more time. If you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian, other, whatever you classify it as, you are being taxed to death for the Great Reset. And Rogan knows this, but he still doesn't pick a side. He's in the middle.
For having differing opinions, the group think, he's like, it's a cult. And he's right. He's 100% right.
Yeah.
It's just hard to say, because then people in the cult will attack you. But
it's hard to say. How about you act like a man, Joe? You're Mr. Kung Fu, karate master, jiu-jitsu specialist. Let them attack you. All right, well, all right. Attack me then. You can attack me all day. I'm telling, there hasn't been a word that I said right now in this 10-minute video that hasn't been the truth. If you don't like it, too bad. I didn't insult anybody. I'm telling you the truth, what's going on in 2024.
They're not attacking you for a reasonable, it's not logical, like the way they're attacking you. They're attacking you like someone attacks religious beliefs.
Yeah.
And some of these religious beliefs, it gets into these weird gray areas, like trans people in women's bathrooms. Like, says who? Says who? How do you know that's a real trans person?
All right, this is another thing since we're on the topic. You have a daughter. She's playing field hockey, soccer, or whatever. And you have a trans person that plays that sport. And that person injures your daughter. Every person on the planet that has this much common sense in their brain knows that women should only compete against biological women. If anybody wants to argue with me about this, you are insane. You need medical help. Obviously, you don't care about your daughter, your sister, your mother, your cousin, your auntie, nothing. No man should ever be competing against a woman in any, especially a violent physical sport. Boxing, MMA, UFC, even like I've seen video after video of girls playing basketball and field hockey and soccer being injured by transgenders because they're you already know where I'm going with this, and I'm not going to go into full detail, but you get it.
Person, how do you not know that's a fucking creep? They don't want to pull his dick out in front of kids. Yes, those are real.
We saw.
Yeah, and that guy was a convicted sex offender. Yeah, and he was doing that. Look, those guys are real. It doesn't mean trans people aren't real also, but those guys are fucking real. Yeah. And to even say that those...
How about we just make this real easy, right? Why don't we just have a trans category for sports? Simple. Super simple. Oh, you're trans? Okay, you play other trans. Boys, girls, trans. Oh, but you can't do that, right? Because then that person can't dominate a bunch of females and feel good about themselves and get a trophy like that swimmer or whatever the hell his name was. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous that anybody can even try to justify this argument that I'm talking about right now. Absolutely ridiculous. And then it turns into, oh, you don't want trans people to compete. You're holding them down. You're oppressing them. Why don't they just have their own boys, girls, trans? You compete against other transgenders. Oh, why? Because now you might lose? Now you can't dominate a bunch of females? No, I'm the problem. I'm the issue.
These guys are real. You get excommunicated. You get treated like you're a Nazi.
I never even cared about it.
Didn't care at all.
Yeah, I mean, whatever you want, I don't give a shit.
I mean, I couldn't agree with them more. I could care less until they thought they could take this agenda and go into classrooms and talk to children, until they wanted to get into women's sports, until you started, I don't care who you sleep with, dude. I don't care that you wear a dress. If you want to cut your junk off and that makes you happy, congratulations, more power to you. In this country, you have to be 18 to 21 years old to do everything. To vote, to buy alcohol, to join the military, to own a weapon. But you think it's okay to let a 5-year-old that somebody manipulated in a classroom to decide if they're going to get a sex change? You think it's a good idea that you're going to let a 7-year-old decide this because, you know, a little boy might have played with a doll or a girl was acting like a tomboy? That's what we're talking about in 2024. But I'm the issue.
You know what I mean? But it's like, I can't do it anymore.
I think it's engineered. I really
By
do.
who?
By China and by Russia.
Oh, no, Chinese.
Yeah, I think what they're doing by manipulating social media, manipulating algorithms, I think some of it is natural. Don't get me wrong. I think some of it would have happened either way. It happened during the 70s with the hippie movement. There's always these people that want to live completely outside of the norm of conformity of society.
This is the most intelligent thing that Rogan said in a long time. I couldn't agree more with this because China knows and Russia knows that they would get their asses handed to them in a war and they could never invade here. They couldn't. They would get demolished if they put ground troops here. There's too many people in America that are trained, that know what they're doing, how to defend themselves, have certain, I don't want to say it. Need to get the channel turned off, but they know how to defend themselves. So the best way to do that is to bring morale in a country down to below zero, to make masculine men feel like they're unworthy and there's something wrong with them and they need therapy, and that to just turn masculine men in America, regardless of race, into like demonize them and villainize them, and turn off like basically 70% of the population against them, because masculine men in every country are needed to fight wars, are needed to send messages to other countries like, hey, you're not going to invade us. Masculine men are the gasoline to all of politicians, when they want to conquer something or somebody or somewhere or get their way, it's always done with masculine men. Masculine men make the world go round. Masculine men do jobs that other people don't want to do. They make people feel safe. They win wars. They stand up for the weak. They stand up for people that can't stand up for themselves. So if you're an enemy to America, what's the best way to get at these masculine men? To demonize them. So this is a very smart concept, what Rogan is saying.
And there's always people like that. But what's going on now is very different, and it's accentuated by social media. And I think it's accentuated by algorithms naturally, because people are inclined to go towards things that upset them. But also, it's done purposely. And I think it's done, if you have enough stuff about like whatever the thing is, whether it's Black Lives Matter or whether it's Ukraine or whether it's free Palestine from the river to the sea, if you have enough of that online, it moves the needle. And the way I described it the other day is like if two ships are going in a certain direction. This is a ship where people logically work through things, and this is a ship that's adjusted by the algorithm, affected by the algorithm. It just moves that much. Over time, this is what we're seeing. So over time, you and I, who used to be on the left, are now like, where's the left? Where are you guys? You guys are so far away. I can't even see you. You're out of your mind. You're fucking chopping dicks off. And
Well, Joe, what does that mean then? Maybe you should go to the right. Maybe you should be a man and say, I had enough of this. I mean, there's a new mayor in Philadelphia. Her name is Sherelle Parker, new mayor of Philadelphia. And she claims that the reason for all the crime in Philadelphia, it's not the criminals, it's not liberal policies, it's not the drugs, it's not the parents that raised the people that are committing crime there. It's the white teachers who work in the school system. They need to get rid of all the white teachers. Yeah, you heard that right. All that. What's her name? Yeah, Sherelle Parker claims that the reason for all the crime in Philadelphia, let this sink in, is because of Caucasian teachers in the school system. It's time not only to go right, Joe, but it's time to like literally extreme right.
giving little kids hormone blockers, you have no idea what the long-term consequences are. You're ignoring the health risks. You won't even talk about the health risks. You use things like gender-affirming care. What are you saying? What are you saying when you're talking about children? Why are you just accepting this? Because it's a noble thing.
Joe, you're so serious right now, but you still won't take a side, Joe. You still won't take a side, right? You're all into it, but you still won't take a side.
To blurt out so everybody goes, you're on the right team. That's what it is. It's not like, oh my God, what are we doing to kids? It's not like, oh my God, what are we doing to San Francisco? It's not like, oh my God, why are we letting these violent criminals out of jail? It's like, oh my God, why are we defunding the fucking police? What are you doing? You can't say any of those things. If you say any of those things,
But you just said it.
You get nervous? No.
Okay.
I live here.
Right.
This is Texas.
You have politicians in this country that think that if a criminal breaks into your house, that you should retreat. That if a criminal breaks into your house to harm you, that your first and pretty much only option is to retreat and let that person do whatever they want because they're the real victim. Liberalism is a mental disorder. This is a mental disorder. Oh, wait. So a guy breaks in my house to harm me, rob me, and do all types of things, and you don't think I have to explain a million times to the police how and why I defended myself and why I didn't retreat? Are you effing insane? You obviously are. You have politicians in this country and police officers that back this notion. Oh, poor him. He didn't grow up the right way, so, he gets to come in your house and do whatever he wants. Yeah, okay. You try that.
Texas, 99% of the people agree with me. Even the left-leaning people here are way more reasonable.
Even last night, there's a joke that I tell that if I say it in a liberal city, it dies. And it's a joke about, Down syndrome people making love. And they make up their own moves. Right? And they know traditional moves. And I did it last night. It crushed most shows. And I felt like, oh, this is, what I've been, I think, maybe looking for.
Well, that club is specifically designed and nurtured just for what's funny. That's it.
Yeah.
There is no message here unless...
Well, there you have it. Rogan refuses to have Donald Trump on because he says that he doesn't want to help Trump. And it's like, you're either part of the problem or you're part of the solution. And just because you have Trump on doesn't mean that you're obviously supporting him. You could have Trump on and let him go over all the things that he's accused of. They say you're racist. Do you want to respond? They say that you're a thief. Do you want to respond? They say that you're a tax cheat. Do you want to respond? And just let him tell his part of his life, of his story. Every person on the planet knows right now he's not getting a fair shake with the media. So why don't you act like a man, Rogan, for once, and say, you know what? I'm going to have him come on. It's going to be no hold bars. You got to let him know that I get to ask him anything I want, and he's got to answer the questions, and we'll go from there. But that's Rogan. He doesn't want to pick a side. It's not even picking a side. It's just setting up an arena to let the truth come out. And what would be wrong with that? You have responsibility with your platform to tell the truth, to promote the truth, and to honor the truth.